And welcome back to your favorite weekly sports show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is ITC Sportsball. And I am, of course, your man, Jerome Span. And we have got the most fire team with us, as always. We've got that hot take spitter, the man that spits takes like die line rips. He is that man.
You know it's your boy Swaggy Mace.
And of course,
Got to cool down with the drink.
and Mace is a little under the weather, ladies and gentlemen, so please forgive him. I know he's struggling, but we came to give the people what they want because it gets the people going. And of course, we've got ITC's resident troll. He is that guy, that one that takes the gasoline, throws it on the fire, sees it blow up, then he's like, let me throw some C4 in there too. Click, click. He is that guy, Daryl.
Got the confidence of Diego Sanchez.
Oh no. Oh no. We already starting early with the nonsense. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, we would be remiss if we did not start off right away with all of the hot moves that have been happening in the NFL. And of course, we have to start with the biggest move of the week, and that would be the Denver Broncos trading the whole bag for Russell Wilson. Mace, I have to ask you right away, did they pay too much? And is Russell Wilson worth this? Because, if we view this just basically off of his performance over the past two seasons, he's had up and then down. So do you think that this is the move that the Broncos needed to make after Aaron Rodgers decided he was going to stay his little butt in Green Bay, which is awful? I was hoping that the devil would leave, but he's staying anyway.
Honestly, man, I don't really think they gave up too much. They're already a young team, and first round and second round picks are only going to keep the status quo. So, I mean, only thing they can do is get better from here because all of their skill position players are 25 and under, like on both sides of the ball, like the secondary, the receiving core. They got some young linebackers. I mean, outside of losing Noah Fant, but I think this was probably, I mean, Drew Lock or Russell Wilson, and they didn't give up any of their receivers in the process or their running back. I mean, it's a win all the way around for me. I don't see how they didn't give up too much. This is a 1,000% win.
So, Daryl, are you of the mentality, too, where it is you can't pay too much for a quarterback? Or do you feel like that they gave too much? Because your face is saying they paid too much.
They definitely pay too much. Why get him? How everything? Like we got to base this on injuries. We got to base this on like consistency. I don't for the Broncos. They could have did better. I think they could have did better. But we'll see how this works out. See if he's gonna lead the Broncos to a good old victory. Because don't he need a little bit more support?
If we're being fair and honest, the Broncos roster is already pretty good. So he's stepping into a roster that, if we're being honest, it's closer to the Tampa Bay with Tom Brady situation than it is like where they're in a full rebuild or something like that. The problem that they're going to have, though, is Russell Wilson is going to eat up a lot of that cap. He's going to want that money, so they're not going to have as much money to move around. And they did also give up Noah Fant. But if you know anything about Russell Wilson, traditionally, he don't really throw it to the tight end anyway. So I don't really see that as a big loss for them. But I do have questions, though, because Russell Wilson has played up and down for the past couple of years, right? It hasn't been a level of consistency where we're like, oh, this guy's out here winning the MVP. This guy's out here in the MVP conversation every year. It seems like he starts off potentially in that conversation, and then every season he has trailed off from there. So I don't know if it's too much, but I'm also leaning towards what May said here, which is, hey, man, if you get a franchise quarterback and you get a Super Bowl, I don't know how you could say it's too much. You know, you're playing in one of the hardest divisions now in football, because this is one of the few divisions in football that has at least 4 quality quarterbacks. Not name me another division in football right now that has 4 at least quality quarterbacks, guys that if they're your starter, they're a plus and not just a minus or they're even. There's not another one. So I think it's a smart move on the Broncos' part, especially because this is the biggest fact to me. They have a running game. One of the biggest issues in Seattle was that in Seattle, it was constantly, we need Russ to throw the ball for 300 yards. He's got to be back there just dropping back and cooking because our running game sucks. No matter what we do, no matter who we put back there, no matter what the bodies are that we're putting up front, our running game sucks. We know one thing, very factual, that running game is going to work. Now, where I have reservations about how this works out long-term for the Broncos, though, is that defense is going to take a step back. No matter what people say, you can have all the criticism of a Vic Fangio all you want as a head coach. But one thing you cannot criticize is that his defenses were always prepared to play. I know, Mace, I know Baby James might try and tell us, oh, that's not the case. Baby James half the time don't know what he's looking at, so that's neither here nor there. But I'm sorry, Baby James. You know I love you, dog. I ain't trying to take shots at you, but you know I love you. But a lot of people get caught in that, right, where they don't necessarily see the full picture. They don't even understand the scheme that they're fully playing. So that defense is going to take a step back. Will guys like Fuller, for them, be able to turn it around after having a god-awful season? I don't know. Because one of the reasons Ryan Pace got rid of him, in the words were, when he got when he got cut from the team, was that Ryan Pace felt like he couldn't play no more. And after seeing the results of last year, I'm starting to think that he was right there. For all the criticism I have of Pace, he did get some moves right, and that seeming like one of them. So we'll see what happens there. But regardless, I have to ask you both, do you at least feel like this puts the Broncos as now a Super Bowl contender?
You know what? I think so, because at the end of the day, having Russell Wilson on your team gives you a chance to win. Things just kind of went off the rails there in Seattle the last 2 to 3 years or so. They just kind of went down the drain. But I don't think you have a quarterback like Russell Wilson who's still in his prime. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Russell Wilson's washed at all. He's just been in an unfortunate situation with a bunch of electricians as his offensive lineman. So if Denver can protect Russell Wilson when they do drop back and pass, which I think he'll have an opportunity to see a lot more single coverages because they will have a run game, and I think they'll have that play action working pretty well. So maybe not in true MVP season, because now it seems like it's going to Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes like every year. It is what it is at this point. But I expect him to be a very big plus. I expect Denver to be not only in playoff contention, but a dangerous team in the playoffs. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Derek, you feel like they're a Super Bowl contender with Russell Wilson now?
Nope. Nope. You can give that hope dream speech. Nope. I don't believe it. Nope. I think it's just going to be him just adjusting, him miraculously getting an injury as soon as he gets on the team. I just feel like it's...
He's going to get hurt?
Yeah, he's getting hurt. I'm going to call it right now. If he gets hurt, just say I said it. I said it first.
I mean, in fairness, he's gotten hurt like what? 4 out of the last 5 seasons, really? It's just a lot of those times there were injuries he could play through.
Yeah, but come on now.
And in fairness to Daryl, we know Russell Wilson is the master of creating his own pressure. because he loves holding on to that ball. Pat, pat, pat. Let me run around real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let me do a little bit of this behind the line and then just hold the ball and then get destroyed back behind the line. You know what? You know whose style is really, really similar to his, Mace, except he can actually see over the middle of the field and use it? Josh Allen. Josh Allen is just like that, where he's like, hey, let me run around here, do some crazy stuff, and I'm going to throw it up. And sometimes it works out, you know, and then other times it looks like that one that he threw up to double coverage to his fullback to say, go get it, baby. I mean, it happens. I mean, look, kind of funny. He's never gonna look until Josh Allen win a Super Bowl. I'm killing him for that fullback throw every time. How do you throw it up to your fullback and say, "Go up and get it"? Yo, fullback.
You got Diggs out there.
Exactly. There's my point. You can't throw it up to your fullback. Okay, you have guys that are professional catchers of the ball, and you said, "Nah, B, I ain't gonna throw it to none of them. I'm gonna throw it up to the fullback. He got it." Because, you know, he got all the springs in the world, right? Exactly. But also, we have to talk about how this ends up looking for the Seahawks. Now, Mace, I think both of us believe this team are going to be the Broncos team is going to be good. So those draft picks aren't going to necessarily mean as much as what, you know, a lot of Seahawks fans are probably hoping for. That being said, does this signal just full rebuild to you more than anything, knowing that not only did they trade Russell Wilson, and they got as fair of the package as you're going to get back pretty much for a quarterback in this day and age, right? And especially with his age involved in this situation too. This isn't like you're trading for another guy like Deshaun Watson, who we will talk about for you guys, ladies and gentlemen, today. But he's older. They got rid of him, and they also they cut Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner, we know, Mace, he's still playing at a super high level. He's been playing at an all-pro level for season after season, and now they've cut him. So at this point, is it full rebuild? Do you think that they are potentially looking forward to next year's draft, saying maybe we can put it in the tank enough to get Bryce Young?
Honestly, with the moves that they've made this year, they should have just went ahead and got rid of Pete Carroll as well, because what has Pete Carroll's regime done drafting outside of Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf? Like, why give him all that draft stock when he hasn't really hit? And I mean, they got lucky with Russell Wilson. You got lucky with that one, and DK was just a freak of nature, and we didn't even know that he was going to be the actual receiver that he is. We just figured he was going to just be big, fast, and strong.
And if we ain't lying, if we're being honest, he looked like that's all he is this last season, because he was not like defense is figured out. Man, you better not just let this man run past you. He can't run no other routes.
Yeah, so I think they should have just went in a total rebuild direction and just said, Pete, yeah, you did us well, but we got to let you go. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they're waiting on a candidate that didn't put their name in the hat or something. I don't know, but I think they honestly.
If you Tyler Lockett at this point, Daryl, are you just saying, I'm out? Trade me. Send me out. I ain't got time for this. Rebuild. I need to go.
Pretty much, because if you see his not working, you see this little just rebuild, just make a new team, make that new team. Make
man, we was making
it.
fun of Drew Lock all year. We know it ain't gonna work.
Make that new team, build it up. You know, pull the LeBron.
I say you go get your quarterbacks now in this draft. There may not be any that are like rated high or whatnot, but I think you got to go. I think you got to go get this one, because.
But who?
Like I said,
which one?
If you wait a year, now you have a disgruntled Tyler Lockett, a disgruntled DK Metcalf. You got a Noah Brown who doesn't want to be there. and now you're going to try to bring in a rookie and tell these guys that believe in the rook, go ahead and give them your best shot now, and be like, hey, bro, let him show you that he can be the guy for us instead of waiting a year with Drew Lock.
You saying all that? You saying all that? Who should they draft in?
Hey, listen, bro. It's gonna be a reach regardless. I'm not sitting here. Like I said, there's a reason why most people's top 10 drafts or the first round, a lot of people don't have a quarterback coming off until like the mid-teens, and even that's probably a stretch this year. But to do you got to do something at this point to keep your stars happy, and Drew Lock ain't it.
Oh, just another failed John Elway experiment. That's what Drew Lock is, bro. Just another failed experiment. I mean, goodness gracious. But yeah, honestly, if I'm telling you boys the truth, Seattle's in the tank. They're not playing for this year, Mace. They are not drafting a damn quarterback this year. They're going to draft the best player that they can available, and I think they go from there. I think they are looking at it and saying it's going to be between us and the Lions next year, trying to go after Bryce Young, right? Because it's not going to be the Jaguars. Jaguars have their quarterback, right? Bears got their quarterback. Or maybe the Giants too. It depends. We'll see what happens. The Giants, they out there hyping up their boy Mitchell Trubisky. You know what I'm saying? They might get a guy because Mitchell looks just like what they want to in a quarterback now. He's got the whole aesthetic down. Let me tell you that much. And like we said, he's like what would the Bills GM say? He has said, oh yeah, Mitchell Trubisky is the type of guy you want your daughter to marry. So remember, he's got everything they want. He's got it.
Hey, whether it's him or Dimes, it's a bad time there. It's just
might well call that man pennies at this point, dog. If we being honest, there ain't no dimes. That's pennies out there. Because he may make a great throw once in a while, but he gonna put that damn ball on the ground a couple of times. So no. But yeah, they're in the Seahawks are in full tank mode. I think it's gonna be between three teams trying to compete to get for that Bryce Young spot next year. And the Seahawks are in a position with that division being what it is, that they are clearly the worst team in the division. I mean, Trey Lance could come in and play bad next year, and they're still a better team than what the Seahawks are. So I don't know how he gets better quickly, which is why I think they go with best player available and they don't waste their time trying to go get one of these quarterbacks and say, let's appease these guys. No, what they need to do is over the next couple months, figure out who in the world is going to trade for Tyler Lockett and any other old dude that they got. And the only young dude that should be left on that team, two of them, Carson and DK. The rest of them cats, they're all expendable. Every last one of them. So I think it's a clear rebuild. Sorry to say for you, my boy, Ali. You about to have a rough couple of years here, my boy, because Russell Wilson had been keeping y'all at least competitive. Now it's going to feel a lot like the old Seahawks. Like not the Matt Hasselbeck Seahawks. I'm talking about them Seahawks before that, where it was like, ooh, yuck. They were the worst teams in football. So, hey, it's just like, hey, Saints fans, Bucks fans, y'all about to be in for a rude-ass awakening this year, boy, especially you Saints fans. Look, I am not a hater of the Saints, okay? I'm not. Let me tell you something. It's just been quite hilarious to me to watch how quickly Saints fans have forgotten about for their entire history before Drew Brees. They were a bunch of losers. You know this, Mace. There's a bunch of losers down there. The Cowboys used to come down there and take over their stadium. They were so garbage. Okay? So
shame them Cowboys can't take over a Super Bowl.
Boy, even when it's in their own house, they can't even do it, boy. We didn't see teams get there in their own house back-to-back years, but when it was in the Cowboys' house, I don't think that's what happened.
I'm sorry, Mace. I had to.
I'm a steel wall. You can't penetrate me right now. I'm not gonna allow this.
Well, I'm like Wolverine's claws, nigga. I'm adamantium, and I'm cutting straight through that bitch. So we're gonna keep it moving. But of course, we have to talk about the other big move that happened this week, and that is Khalil Mack being traded to the Los Angeles Chargers. Daryl, I have to ask, I know you are a dude that has historically, especially over the course of the season, you have laughed at the Chargers and their misfortune. And you, like myself, were one that laughed at them for years when every year with Phillip Rivers in every game, it was we down 7, no timeouts, a minute left on the clock, and we got to drive 95 yards. I know you laughed at them for years like I did. So I have to ask, do you feel like this was the right move for the Chargers to potentially push them forward in the division? And instead of having to be in a position where it's you got to win this game to get in, or at least tie it to get in, they're just outright winning the division.
Is it a good move? Yes and no. Because I don't know. I think it sticks with consistency. And then you can just literally like look at the Chargers now and just like at one point you was on top of the mountain. Then after that, you're just like, what did you do? I don't know.
I think
I
it's
don't
a
watch
good
enough.
move for him.
Just don't watch enough Chargers enough because
Well, from the games that I've seen, scheme wise, they like to run a too high safety look. So they're a lot of times they are having to rely on 4 guys to get pressure. So and what we saw last year is just that the secondary was young and just couldn't hold up over time. So I think adding Khalil Mack, who over the last 2 years has had, even though he's had the few injuries that have kept him out, he's had the either third or fourth best pass rush grade in the NFL. And then putting him beside Bosa, who is also in that 3-4 range. I think it's kind of like one's 3, one's 4, or one's 3 and one's 2, or something like that. Either way it go, I think this allows them to build on the scheme that they already have in place, because the Chargers are looking at it like it doesn't matter what we do if we can't beat the Chiefs. And the thing that we figured out to be successful is a too high safety look. But if nobody's getting home, that doesn't matter at all. He just has too much time back there.
So do you feel like this move puts them more back to where they were in like Bosa's rookie year, which was when they had Ingram and him coming off of 2 different ends, to where now their defense can be more impactful? Is that what you're saying?
I think that's what they were looking at in this move, because there's no way that you can there's no way you can play the style of defense that they want to and not have 2 rushing threats. Derwin James, I mean, he can do a lot back there, but at the end of the day, man, he can't cover everything. So it's gonna be pretty nice out there. I'm pretty sure Bosa is gonna be happy that he's now has a running mate again. So yeah, I'm fully expecting the Chargers. Or my thought process about what the Chargers did was just say, hey, their scheme dictates that they need 2 pass rushers. So I think this is what they did. This is how they are going to remedy that. And I think it might turn out pretty well for them.
that sounds very convincing, but hey, I hope it works out. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I hope it works out.
Oh, and Mike Williams got the bag at that too. So I mean, Herbert's gonna be happy. He's got his other threat back too.
Well, yes, I think that was one of the most important things that they did was managing to re-sign Mike Williams was huge for them because they cannot afford to start losing weapons at this point. They're at a point with this team where they have to continue through free agency and the draft, especially while Herbert is on that rookie deal. You have to continue to add players in so you can hopefully get over the hump. We know Kansas City, they're going to be good, right? But they're a year older next year, and they don't have any ways of actually getting an impactful younger talent at this point. No one's going to trade for their old guys on the contracts that they're on. Like, hey, let's just be honest. No one's going to trade for even guys like McCole Hardman, who have shown kind of at this point that, hey, he ain't nothing but a track guy. I mean, even with the fact that he does. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'll say he had a better receiving year, but that was out of necessity. I still don't. Nobody's looking at McCole Hardman as anything other than a gadget play guy, a reverse, a jet sweep here and there. So yeah,
but even that, a better receiving year, Mace. But would you call it a? Let's go this way, Mace. Let's compare his year to Darnell Mooney's. Would you say he even had a good year if you compared him against Darnell Mooney's year?
No.
So you see what I'm saying? It's like what value really is there now in a guy like Hardman? You can't even do potentially like a sign and trade for him. You can't say, "Oh, we're going to tag him and send him out." You can't even do any of that because his value is so much lower. It's not his rookie season anymore where people are like, "Oh my goodness, he might be the next Tyreek Hill because he's so fast." So they're a team that I don't know how they get any better at this point. I think they're kind of capped out unless they can hit on some great players in the draft. Because look, through all the moves that they've made, they haven't completely bankrupted themselves in their draft capital. They still do have some early round picks. So if they can hit, we know they're going to continue to be good. And looking at their, of the history of what they've been doing here, they've been hitting at a pretty regular rate. So the Chargers are a team most definitely that at this point you have to try and go for it all, right? It has to be basically the Rams mentality almost at this point, right? Where it's like, hey, look, this is the opportunity that we have with the way that our salaries and stuff are going to fall in place, right? This is our chance to go for it. We got to go for it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the Chargers have. This is kind of a all-in move for them. They're done with the whole let's build it. I think they're done with the whole building process, and they're just like, hey, man, we're about to start moving in the furniture. We're about to make this thing look nice because this is our shot right here. And yeah, with the Chiefs not being able to free agent wise bring in another impact player, I think this is kind of the Chargers sign to say that, hey, this year and this next year, the Chiefs are going to be expunging players and salaries instead of bringing guys in. So we've got a 2-year window here to make this thing work.
He's about to be out here trying to see if they can fleece somebody into taking a declining Tyrann Mathieu is what they really going to be doing. If we're being honest, look, I've loved the Honey Badger over the course of his career from LSU to now, right? Been a big fan of his. Well, boy, Mace, between the playoffs the year before and last season is in total, woo, he's looking like he's losing a step. And just like I do, he was never the burner.
Yeah.
So
he was a guy who was always in position and always had the tenacity to make plays instead of I can cover sideline, I can cover hash to sideline, I can cover numbers. It's not like he's never been that guy to just cover up other people's mistakes.
But Daryl, should the Chargers just go all in? Since they've already went to this move, right? Should they just do basically what the Rams have been doing for the past 2-3 seasons, which is saying we're just going all in this window and we're going to try and win a bowl?
Yeah. The whole point is to win. Screw the politics. It's all about winning. You should get the best team you can make up with the right resources that you have and go ahead and just win. Stop the whole politic run. Oh, I can't do this, do that. Shit, I'll be like straight up cold shoulder, everything. Like, I don't care if you need him, I need him. Need that on my squad. I need the best defense. I need the best offense. I need it all. I need the best of the best. I don't need no type of, oh, well, we got this guy because he was just available at the moment. So, no. You want the less injuries as possible. So you want premium players. You don't want people with bad knees. You don't need people with bad shoulders. You don't need people to have, oh, I broke my finger. Let me stay out for a good couple months. Like, no, we need quality over quantity. That's how it works. I take it. Go on.
I'm not mad at that at all. I'll be honest with you. Chargers, y'all have a rookie quarterback contract who happens to be probably already at this point a top 15 at least quarterback in the league. You better push all them chips to the middle of the table and make it happen.
Figure this out. You got 3 seasons to figure this out.
Because in 3 seasons, you're going to have to pay him $300 million plus. Because, look, Patrick Mahomes' contract then set the standard. Now, when Aaron Rodgers' deal goes official, the annual year that you have to pay what you have to pay to do every year is going to go up. Then when Russell Wilson signed his deal, the total value going to go up. And then when Lamar signed his deal, the total value going to go up some more. So by the time you got to pay Herbert, my boys, that contract going to be pushing like $400 million. So you better make your run now, because one thing we all know, right? All of our teams at one point or the other have not had it. Well, maybe not Daryl, because he had been Tom Brady for 20 years. But pretty much everybody here at one point, their team did not have a quarterback that they had any faith in. And let me tell you, it didn't matter how good the team was around them. I mean, Mace, you remember some of them teams y'all had with DeMarcus Ware but no quarterback? Whew. Boy, that's why all y'all love Tony Romo. But that's why y'all love Romo.
You know what? I've come to the conclusion about the Cowboys run their team the same way the University of Texas runs their program. They just want to. They get lucky with quarterbacks. They don't fucking put no draft stock into the quarterback position and get lucky.
Speaking of quarterbacks in Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks, Mace, I have to ask you about the report that's been put out that says that Amari Cooper, who they just shipped out for a bag of sweat socks and some donuts in a bag.
A dirty bag of sweat. It wasn't even clean sweat socks.
So for a bag of sweat socks, they just shipped him out. But report is that after the playoff game, Amari Cooper was calling Dak Prescott the Black Kirk Cousins. My boy, how does that make you feel?
I was a little jaded at first because I had a feeling we were going to keep Dak over Amari. But if I'm being honest,
you were.
If I'm being honest here, how wrong is that statement? Because don't get me wrong, I've seen Dak become a better quarterback over his starting tenure. But I still, maybe I'm just more critical because I want my quarterback to be as good as other quarterbacks. I still see him miss throws that I think he should be making. And I remember what Dak Prescott looked like before Amari Cooper. And
so what you're saying, Mace, is he's a legend at the bank, but not on the field.
Pretty much, man. The only thing that I'm holding on to at this point is that Dallas is getting rid of as many bad contracts as possible, so Sean Payton can come up in here next year and create a contender.
Do you hear this, Daryl? Do you hear him already with this Sean Payton pipe dream, bro?
That's what I'm holding on to. Look at what our team doing. We franchise tagged the tight end that we could draft in the 4th round. We traded away Dak Prescott's best option at receiver. I'm not mad about the Lyle Collins move. They're trying to move him. He's been injured and hasn't really played well since the first year he got paid. I don't, so that move really doesn't jade me. I'm not too mad about that one, but the whole Dalton Schultz situation, franchise tagging a tight end, $10 million a year. That
Hey, time out. Daryl, what was you gonna say? Because I noticed what he's doing. I want you to go ahead and say it to him.
Well, I know how we just jumped over here and talk about performances when that statement is straight color. First off, why does it have to matter if he's the black of something? How does that make any sense? Why can't you just say, hey, he's just Kirk Cousins? Why can't you just say that? But no, you can't. You gotta go with the whole race
and Kirk Cousins,
the whole race and everything. That's how this is why we have these problems. This is exactly why we have these problems with these statements.
You stop that. You stop that right now. I'm not gonna let you do that. I'm not gonna let you do that. You stop that right now. That's not why we have these problems. We have this problem because people are racist. Okay,
but back to the point of like losing Amari Cooper. Like,
no, hold on. Is he the black Kirk Cousins or not? You're not gonna get the slide without answering. Is he black Kirk Cousins or not?
I already answered the question. Did I not answer the question already?
But I'm just saying, is he? Yes, and I need to hear definitive. Is he black Kirk Cousins? Because see, you slid into some other stuff
Kirk
after
Cousins.
that.
He's not what we want him to be. But I'm picking him over Kirk Cousins every week.
So that's a yes.
No.
Oh, that's a no. Okay. So
yeah, no. I'm still putting. I don't think we can sit here and say that Kirk Cousins
so if we were ranking them,
Prescott are like neck and neck as in quarterback rankings. I'm pretty sure Dak is
so how far is Dak ahead of him?
Not far.
If we were doing rankings, how far is Dak ahead of him?
Just for the sake of ranking, let's just say we slap Kirk Cousins at 18, Dak's like 15, 16.
So he is the black Kirk Cousins. That's what you're saying. You literally just said he is black Kirk Cousins.
You should have said he was 18 and then Dak was like 10. That would have made more difference. You gave him like a 2-spot difference. What's going on?
Listen, without Amari Cooper, he might be the black Kirk Cousins. He might be.
That is a racist statement.
He might be without Amari Cooper on the field. He might be as effective as Kirk Cousins.
Okay, so I want to just go ahead and say, oh, you the white Tom Brady.
So let me get this right. So we're confirming it, Daryl. He has shown us now that he has no faith in Dak. So next year, when he starts drinking that Cowboy Kool-Aid real hard,
Dak looked like without Amari Cooper on the field.
Just like when he started drinking that Cowboy Kool-Aid real hard, Daryl, like we know he gonna do, because you know what happens, right? Them Cowboy fans, they hear how about them Cowboys a couple times, and it just gets them going right there, like, oh yeah, baby.
Man, I'm sorry.
When he gets going again.
I'm sorry.
Let's just remind him.
Faith in my team.
Let's just remind him of this statement.
Well, I'm already saying it right now. Cowboys have an injury, and it's not even going to be in for freaking regular season.
But like I said, bro,
I'm gonna have to clip that
Dak looked like before Amari Cooper was a part of the team. And
that's going to be a clip right there, because we're going to bring that one back and we're going to play it for him, Daryl. When football season comes and he telling us about how good Dak is going to be, we're going to be like, remember when you said he the black Kirk Cousins?
Unless he performs well next year, he will be, because I mean, 10 million on a franchise tag to Dalton Schultz. He can't run away from nobody. He can't make people miss. He's basically a young Jason Witten. That's not even as good as Jason Witten, because at least
that's how y'all like him. That's a legend down there. You give him his proper respect, man.
Jason Witten could run a curl. Jason Witten could run a curl and a curl out, and that was it. That was his only.
You call him what he is, Mr. 3-yard out himself, Cowboy legend. Jason Witten.
He was a curl option guy. He was a curl option guy. That was Jason Witten, curl option.
He kill you on that 5-yard curl, baby. He gonna get you now. He gonna get some space. I promise you that.
If it's a 3rd and 3, Jason Witten gonna get that 5 for you. You know what I'm saying? But
And if it's 3rd and 7, Jason Witten gonna get you 5.
you know what I'm saying? Like that's not what you need out of the tight end position at this point. Like that's a cool second tight end. Like if your second tight end is sure-handed, can get you running a little 5-yard route for you. You know what I'm saying? In your 11 packages and whatnot. Cool. But your primary tight end, with the way that offenses are run nowadays, if my boy can't break a safety off from time to time, he's not worth $10 million.
Who's worth $10 million? Can I give that?
He can't even.
At the tight end position, you mean? Is that what you said there?
Yeah, like who's worth 10
Well,
stats?
okay. If we went over it, if we was looking at the bodies in the league right now, right? So it'd probably be Kelsey. What?
I say Kelsey, Kittle.
Yeah, Kelsey and Kittle for sure. Those two, they're 1 and 2. They're pretty much interchangeable. But then after that, that's where
Pitts got to do it longer for me to say that.
I would love to give Pitts the credit as the 3 spot, but yeah, just putting up 1 year doesn't do it. But he's probably top 5. So Pitts is one of the guys that would be in there. Man, that's really. I can't. Maybe Evan Ingram, because like he's put up numbers with the lack of a true quarterback there in New York. So maybe him. Outside of that,
it's kind of hard to sit here and say like who is worth that amount of money at the tight end spot, because
let's go to the
maybe go up to New England and look at Hunter Henry or Jonnu Smith. Maybe one of them. Maybe
I don't even think, if you want to be honest, I think both of those guys are overhyped. If you want to be honest, I think they're both overhyped. I think they were guys that were they were products of a system that had Derrick Henry running the ball and getting them open. So I don't think either of those guys are great. So yeah, if we're being honest, Daryl, there's maybe 3, maybe 4 tight ends in the league that are worth that money. Everybody else, you turn around and you look and you say, there is no way in heck I should be paying you $10 million for a season because you ain't going to produce that much.
No, there's no way. Like I said, Don Schultz, he can't run away from anybody. It's not a mismatch to keep a linebacker on him. So it's not like you forcibly have to put a safety down in the box to guard him. He's not that great of a blocker. To franchise tag him, it must just be that Dallas doesn't believe in any other tight end, whether it be free agency or in the draft. They just believe that there is no way that they will get any sort of value from another tight end this year. That's the only thing I can think of, because there's no way this dude is worth $10 million a year.
Or maybe they really think he's going to break out this year, Mace. I don't see that, right? Because of the fact that he's not that explosive after the fact that when he catches the ball, right? That's the thing with Pitts, with Kelsey, with Kittle, right? We know this 100%. Them dudes get the ball, they about to make something happen, right?
There's no way those 3 dudes you can put a linebacker on them. There's no possible.
No.
And then even then you're searching around the league to find a safety that can stick those dudes.
Well, let's be honest. There's maybe 4 or 5 safeties in the league that can cover those guys. That's about it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And even then, it's a win for the tight end. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's there's a tier of tight end that 2 to 3 people are at, and then everybody else is just kind of sneaking around, making way more money than they should be. But I don't, man. I always have to be. I have to maintain some sort of optimism as a Cowboy fan. I have to. But at the same time,
no, you don't. You aren't required to. See, this is why we say y'all be drunk on that shit. This is why we say that.
Man,
this is why we say this.
If y'all were
It
less
doesn't look
toxic,
good.
maybe we wouldn't complain about Cowboys.
Who is y'all, bro? I'm probably the least toxic Cowboy fan. I am the most humble Cowboy fan y'all know.
You have toxic decisions.
Hey,
I
look.
am the most humbled Cowboy fan y'all
Look.
know.
Look, you are one out of many big million that is humble like this. The most of them are like Callias, talking about some after one win. How about them Cowboys?
Y'all worse than Philadelphia Eagles fans. That's why it's like always y'all too. It's always a big thing. It's always big ticket numbers for Eagles versus Cowboys. Always. Doesn't matter if it's at your place or is in Philadelphia. It's always
maybe Dallas knows something about Michael Gallup's ACL injury. Maybe because I believe most guys, they actually come and have Dallas's their trainer. I think he's like the ACL guy or whatever. He's the ACL guru or some shit like that. No, I'm being legitimately serious. Like, he's the guy that always does everybody's ACL surgeries.
And so I just want to know
something that we don't as a public, to be giving a guy coming off an ACL injury 10 to 13 million a year.
I just want to know though, is his secret HGH? Is that his secret?
It might be. I don't know.
I'm just wondering.
All I know is that a lot of these dudes that get the ACL surgeries, they come down to Dallas and have that guy do their surgeries, or Dallas will have him go out and evaluate like free agents who have like lower body injuries, and he okay him or not. So I mean, he's the leg whisperer, man. He's the ligament whisperer.
He's the new Dr. James Andrews. Send him there to cure all your ails.
I guess so. Whatever in that needle that he be stabbing you with,
we need a CTE whisperer too. There's plenty of that.
Yo, shut up. You shut up. You shut up. You are ridiculous.
I'm perplexed as a Cowboys fan to see these moves play out.
Well, Macy, at least you got Micah Parsons.
Listen, man.
You got Micah.
We do,
and you already have your next head coach on your roster, Mace. You know this. This is why you need to stop this whole fucking Sean Payton talk. There is a reason that man Dan Quinn didn't leave when people were reportedly offering him the job, Mace. You know what that means.
Honestly, with the turnaround that the defense made, I would not be mad at Dan Quinn being the next head coach. Like, I could not be mad at that one. Given the turnaround.
Look at it. He was drunk earlier talking about Sean Payton. Now it's like, I'll be all right with Dan Quinn.
No, that's less legitimate. Like, he actually, Dallas's defense was their best unit for the majority of the season. So
and I just want to ask
I would rather have Sean Payton. Let's be honest here. I would rather have Sean Payton, but if it was Dan Quinn, I would not have any.
So wait, no. It can't be both. What is it? Are y'all waiting on Sean Payton? Or y'all going to Dan Quinn?
But if we chose Dan Quinn, I wouldn't be mad.
See this? He's qualifying everything he's saying. I'm pinning you down, Mace. Which one is it? Is Dan Quinn the next coach, or is y'all next coach Sean Payton? Which one is it? You ain't gonna get to.
I want Sean Payton.
That's that Cowboy. That's that we talking about when we say y'all Cowboy fans be drunk.
It's not even drunk anymore. They in the Matrix.
We would like an accomplished offensive mind to be our head coach. How's that being drunk?
Why in the hell would that man want to come there and deal with Jerry Jones' crazy ass?
Because Jerry got money to pay him.
Oh, the Saints was paying him out. The Saints was paying him out of control. What are we talking about?
Yeah, who got more money than the Saints? Jerry.
Does he? Because they have enough money to own a football team and a basketball team in their family. So does Jerry have more money?
He got that oil money.
Yeah, but they have enough money to own a football and basketball team, and it wasn't even a question.
Oil money. not oil.
Hey, maybe right now Jerry might look like he's richer because gas costs $1,800 a gallon right now. So maybe right now
he's stacking his pockets right now just so he can slide Sean Payton that check.
Speaking of gas prices, you know how pissed off I was when I saw the gas prices was $4.59 a day. This is crazy.
That's
okay?
it. That's it.
How much is it by you?
Like 3.
Oh, this man said that's it. Like he had more expensive gas. Mace, how much it is by you right now?
About 380.
Boy, yeah, boy. We over here 460, dog. 460. Like, yo, from a couple months ago, it's went up like $1, bro. This is crazy.
I'll put it to you like this. My truck and my work van, there's only like an $8 difference between filling them shits up.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is fucking
hey, if you buying Starbucks every day, you can't complain about gas. That's all I'm saying.
Shut your ass up.
It's true.
Starbucks is the reason why we out here struggling.
so Starbucks is now
y'all pay $8 for some fancy foam on your cup. Get out here.
Hey, Starbucks is the reason why we all struggling. It's not minimum wage has been the same for like fucking 20 years now. That's not the reason why. Shit, actually, like 15. Let me be more real.
There, you sounded like a real old person. You almost sound like when they were saying, you know what's wrong with these millennials? Y'all was getting that avocado toast. that's basically what you sound like.
Hey, avocado and Starbucks has ruined our economy, bro.
I'm aging really bad. Leave me alone.
Let's just call it what it is. Avocado and Starbucks has ruined our economy. We can't buy houses. We don't have vehicles to buy. Gas prices through the roof.
Boy, if it wasn't for avocado and Starbucks,
almost $5. Like avocado and Starbucks. It's taking us.
It's not the fact that the companies are making record profits and keeping more of the money for themselves or anything like that. No, it's because we go out and buy avocados and Starbucks.
Yeah, 100,000%, man. Avocado and Starbucks has ruined our economy, man.
Oh, goodness gracious. But of course, we have to move forward and we have to get to the sport that's currently going right now, and that is keeping us sports fans afloat. That is the NBA. And Mace, I know we have went after these dudes all year long, but my goodness, I think it hit the pinnacle of this is god awful when the Lakers had a good Russell Westbrook game and still lost to the Houston Rockets. Mace, I need to know what the hell's going on out there. What is going on with your team, Mace? What is this? I know we keep talking about it, but I have to ask, y'all so sorry y'all lose to the Rockets now, bro?
Them boys ready to go on vacation, man.
Yeah, I should have bet on that game.
Them boys ready to go on vacation. Russell Westbrook ready to get out of LA because he tired of people talking shit about him. Them other dudes, they old, their knees hurt. They're not getting enough rest in between games because they got to play every night. Yeah, bro, it is a bad time right now. I mean, and then the craziest thing about all of this, bro, is how in the world are y'all allowing LeBron James to have this great of a season and be this bad?
You know why? You want to know why? Because we need to stop making super teams. That's what we need to stop. Stop making these nonsense saying Westbrook was actually going to be good on the squad.
Okay.
You could go ahead.
I need you to call out a name. Who is it that was saying the Lakers was a super team that got you feeling this way? Because you have been passing this takeoff all season long when we've been talking about the Lakers, and I'm still at the point of trying to figure out who is this person that said this? Who was it?
I know that I need y'all to go when the first time you heard the news for Westbrook going to the Lakers.
We said, listen, I heard we tell you right now.
I'm telling you, you're going to have people say,
I need a name. Nah, see, you doing the game that the Republicans do, which is, look, I heard it from somewhere. I know I did. I can't tell you who,
I'm
but
sorry.
I know I heard it somewhere.
I'm draking at the moment. Nope, I'm draking. I'm going to just talk about it. Not going to say no names. Nope, I'm draking.
You mean Jordan's king? I love you, Jordan. I love you, my nigga.
Light-skinned Messiah, bro.
Hey, that's their king, bro. I'm telling you, that is his king, bro. That's his king.
But yeah, man, LA is. Honestly, I have no words for this because
it's a dumpster fire.
It was just poorly constructed. When I found out they got Westbrook, I was like, okay, that's terrible. And then they compounded that with getting Rondo. That's even more terrible.
Well, more than anything, I think the problem that they have is that if you're gonna bring in Westbrook, you have to then still be able to keep a guy like KCP, who is a good perimeter defender. You have to be able to keep a Caruso who can come in and give you quality minutes at that position and is another good defender at this point. You can't lose both of those guys and then turn around and be like, oh, well, we're going to bring in Russell Westbrook, who at this point is not a good defender. He is not a plus offensive player. He is not a plus shooter.
There's only one good defender on that team, and he's in street clothes.
Hey, look, I mean, it's the facts. Old street clothes. Hey, look,
they
can't block no shots sitting on the bench.
They brought in DJ Augustine late in the year, and he's supposed to be the backup point guard.
Well, that's because DJ Augustine can actually make a jump shot when he's open. That's behind the 3-point line. Because we know Russ. Whew, that's the craziest part about that Houston game. Russ was making threes against Houston, and y'all still lost. And y'all lost to them boys for real. Yeah, look, Jalen Green, you know it's bad when that young fella came out after the game and literally said, oh, yeah, our entire plan was to just go at Carmelo every time. You know it's gotten bad.
Find Carmelo. He's the matchup.
Mm-hmm. Man.
If I'm Carmelo, I'm coming out the next game and I'm fighting somebody, bro. Ain't no way I'm about to get called out by a rookie. And then a rookie going to say that I'm the person that y'all went after? Ain't no way.
That's embarrassing. That's absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah. But man, it's watching them play is so hard, bro, because they'll have like a stretch where they are just the god awful, the worst team in the league. It always happens. It's either right after the half, because I guess they're not warm enough. They didn't stretch long enough in the lot. Because us old dudes, when we sit too long, we get stiff. So right after half, or like right at the end of the first quarter, going into the second quarter, they just kind of just get blown away like every game. It never fails. It is the worst. It is absolute worst.
The Lakers are an absolute dumpster fire at this point, and the only thing that's keeping them from being potentially one of the bottom 3 teams in the league is the fact that they have LeBron James. Everything about that team outside of that states to me bottom 3 team in the league. LeBron is this is another one of those, and I know some people are gonna hate and be like, oh, that's ridiculous. This is another testament to his greatness, my boy, because if you take LeBron James off of that team, tell me how many wins they got right now. Because we know street clothes has been out basically all year. Okay. So you can't count on street clothes. So take LeBron off that team, and now you just have Westbrook. Tell me how many wins y'all got. Because I bet you it's under 10. I bet you.
Oh yeah, the way that team was currently constructed, yeah, they're definitely gonna be in that 10 to 15 range. They're gonna be sorry.
So think about it, people. LeBron James is statistically having one of his best seasons, his highest scoring, most field goal attempts, and he's still shooting a super high percentage, right? And this Lakers team is fighting for a spot in the play-in game. Like that's pathetic. That shows you how bad all of those guys on that roster are around him.
Just make LeBron happy and just have. You might as well make him have his all-star team as the whole season. He'll be happy as hell. That's about it. Don't have to worry about nothing. Don't have to worry backpack anybody. That's what it is. It's pretty much backpack mode at this point.
He
He ain't got no choice. What he gonna do? Daryl, if he don't put them in the backpack, they're gonna get blown out by 30. Every night. Every night.
Let it be how it be. There's no point taking an injury for it. Honestly. You think it's worth an injury, him putting in this much work just to save the team?
I mean, I've already told LA fans. I've already told LA fans that y'all gonna overwork LeBron and it's gonna turn out just the way Kobe turned out. Like, don't do that. Don't do that to another aging superstar, man.
I mean, let's be real. Mace's got a point. The last time that the Lakers were out here leaning on a aging superstar and had a young guy that was supposed to be picking up the slack that wasn't doing what they thought he was going to do, Kobe blew his damn Achilles out trying to sit here and put the team on his back all season, which, look, I have to tell you something. I will give Kobe Bryant his credit. That is the one season of his career where I would say he did not shoot too much. That year, he had to shoot that much because them boys, like that year, in the year he scored, I think it was 81, right? That year, because you look at them two rosters, and it was like, oh, okay, I get it, Kobe. Nobody on your rosters, nobody's ready for this. You have to take the shots because these other dudes, they don't want to. They're not ready.
Smush Parker was your starting point guard.
And now look, it's a whole different discussion if you want to talk about as like Kobe as a teammate towards these guys and how he led them. We can talk about that. But for the point of, hey, when any of those guys were really ready to be like out there competing, no, they were trash. It was an awful experience. So to kind of wrap it on the Lakers here, because I know we've been bagging on these boys basically all season long, especially old street clothes, right? So to wrap it on them, they have no quick fix to get out of this situation. And the only prayer that they have at this point is that some team in the offseason sees Russell Westbrook's expiring contract as some value and says, we'll take it. We'll take it. That's because unless that happens, you're not going to get rid of Westbrook. It has to purely be a salary dump for another team that they're like, yo, we just got to get these two guys off of our roster because they're making too much money. Because at this point, there isn't a player that you would trade him 1-for-1 for that would make your situation any better. No. As a matter of fact, the only players that you could really trade him for are guys like John Wall. And if you want me to be honest, I'll take Westbrook over Wall all day at this point. So at least I know Westbrook's going to be on the floor. Yes, exactly. We know he'll be on the floor. So there's always that. But don't want to get stuck talking about the Lakers too much here. We got a couple other things we got to cover before we get ourselves out of here for the day. But we have to move forward here. Boys, I know we roughly touched on this over the past week here, but yeah, look, this nonsense that's going on with Brittany Griner is almost at a point where I would say it's out of control. She's facing, for some vape cartridges, potentially 10 years in a Russian prison. And we all know the reason why this is happening, right? The same reason why Roman Abramovich has got to sell his team and he can't benefit from the selling of his team at this time. Even though, if we're being honest, since Roman Abramovich has owned that team, he has been nothing but a good, positive impact on that team, right? But we know what it is at this point. Can't be Putin's boy and be making money in England at this point. It's just not going to work. All that happening, all this stuff is happening. Do you feel like that at this point that the WNBA as a league in whole needs to put out messaging and start trying to figure out a way to get her home? Because, man, 10 years in prison for some vape cartridges that are legal here that we don't even for surely know were actually found on her. Look, I'm not saying you got to go to the negotiating table and try and stop a whole war because of this. All I'm saying is that is a United States citizen. The government should be doing something about this. That is a U.S. citizen. Y'all know what it is. Y'all need to figure that out because there's no reason this woman should be stuck over there facing 10 years in prison for some damn vape cartridges.
This is out of control, man. Ain't no way we would let a U.S. citizen sit in a North Korean prison for 10 years. Like this is the same situation. This is the same scenario. You got a crazy.
Hell, if it was Tom Brady, I bet you he wouldn't sit over there.
Yeah, you got a crazy dictator right now who is trying to leverage any and everything he can to get his way. And you're gonna, and like I said, WNBA, hell, the NBA, the government, governors, everybody at this point should be doing their due diligence to get her from there. You know what, man? If you have to find her on the way back, cool. Hey, Brittany, take this fine, man, but we got to get you the hell up out of there. We ain't no way we can just allow you to sit in a Russian prison for 10 years. Even if it is legal back where she came from, back from the state that she lives in. And hey, man, like a little fine and your freedom. What's up? And something has to be done about this, man, because this is just ridiculous.
I'm not saying she should be off scot-free because, hey, like I said, she may have brought those vape cartridges. But 10 years in prison for something that's legal in our country, I understand. This is one thing I will always tell any American, though. When you are traveling, make sure you are respecting the customs and laws of the country you are traveling to. Even if it's legal here, don't just assume it's legal over there. Wherever over there may be, right? Do not assume that. That is a dangerous game you are playing.
She's been playing in Russia for multiple years, so she's probably been able to get away with it. But now, given the current situation, they were probably like, "Oh, what? You're American? Let me just go toss everything you got out just to give you a hard time because you're American."
Let me put it to you like this. In the reporting that I have read, okay, the salaries of these players when they go over there is not necessarily in line with how popular the sport actually is. So they're treated like superstars over there and paid like superstars. It's one of the reasons why the issue with the charter jet came up, right? With the charter flight, because in college, most of these WNBA players are used to going to a college where they got a booster that's going to give them charter flights. But now they get to the NBA and it's all of a sudden they're looking at some of these owners and they're like, nah, we don't want to do all that. But yet they go overseas to somewhere like Russia, and those owners are trying to find every way they can to give them more money. So it's a weird dynamic that is at play. But yeah, look, man, we as a whole, as a country, we got to do better than let this woman sitting over there for some damn vapes. Like, come on, baby. Come on now. Come on. It's crazy. Because look, we all know this. If it was Tom Brady, his ass would have already been home.
Hell, any reputable male athlete, like, because I mean, if you like comparable, Brittany Griner's probably one of the top 5 like best known names in the WNBA. You take any top 5 known individual in the NBA, and they're in the same situation. I promise you, our government might think about bombing that play. Hey, bro, we gonna tear this shit down if you don't give us our person back.
We getting you home today.
Yeah, you can give us our person back, or we gonna tear this bitch down. And we need that same energy right now because this is just completely ridiculous, man. 10 years in prison for some vape pens that she's probably been bringing over there the entirety of her Russian basketball career. They probably knew who she was on the way over there and was like, she is cool with us. And they treated her right. But now that Russia's on the BS, they like, oh, you American. Let me just run through your luggage real quick and see what you got in there.
It's wild. But you know what else is wild? Daryl, we might actually get Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestling at WrestleMania, sir. Woo, baby, I can't wait. Now, Daryl, I have to ask, did you see the promos that were dropped by both men? And if you did, how did it make you feel, baby?
Let's start off with Kevin Owens promo. Kevin Owens promo on Raw last week was pretty much in the making. He'd been building up this whole against Texas thing for a minute. And as the reports leaked, it was like some sort of like, hey, we're going to try to get Stone Cold to come in. His promo was pretty good. It built up. He tried a little sneak tease saying, hey, I was going to ask this Texan to be on the KO show and then try to put in like Shawn Michaels, but tease that, say, I won't do that because I'm a Canadian at heart. So, Brett, I respect you, so you're not going to do it. Then he brings up Stone Cold. After he said beer drink in Texas, and it was already over. Everybody was going off after that.
The crowd went nuts after that.
The crowd went nuts. Then we get 2 days later. What did WD drop? We get Stone Cold right in was it an ATV or was it what was it? What was that? What was he driving?
Probably,
he drives
probably one of those, them little ATVs,
He had the ATV going.
Man, that was
down.
one of them. That was one of them like souped up golf carts. What are they, like a land shark or whatever they call? I think that's what it is. It's like that's one of them, bro.
We got this man doing the most epic promo of his whole career, making it look like a freaking movie. Steps out the freaking thing and then started addressing Kevin Owens. I was just like, this is some new shit. this is some new shit. Like, this man said 19 years I have been, my last match I got rock bottom 3 times. And then my career was like after that done, but you just sparked something into me I haven't felt in so many years. And I was just like, woo, let's do this.
Hey, did
the
y'all
battle
happen
of the battle of the stunners.
Did you happen to peep though how you can see Stone Cold's been slimming down a little bit in that neck? You can see even out there hitting that cardio up, man. You know what I'm saying? I think he getting ready.
This has been in the works. This is probably,
of course.
We all know what it is. I mean, hey, the promo, excellent.
We couldn't get Rock Roman.
Been something, a WrestleMania in Texas without Stone Cold making an appearance. I would have been hard pressed to believe it.
Well, Daryl, this first hit the dirt sheets, like basically 4 months ago, basically, right? Right before the end of the year.
This is like before Royal Rumble. This is like more like Royal Rumble was because
that's what I'm saying, like 4 months ago.
Because the whole plan for this whole WrestleMania was like a year in the making, literally trying to get Rock and Roman to go good because where it's at. And because of Rock's schedule, it's like movies and Black Adam.
They can't pay that man. They can't pay that man enough to break the movie.
That's what it is.
Obligations. That's
what it is.
So,
hey, the movie checks will always be more. It will be better than the WWE checks. For him at this point, the WWE, that's like, I just go there to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And we get Rock versus Brock. Then we get Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens. I don't think you can top any of this. And to an extent, I don't know what they're going to do because I tell you the one throwaway of the WrestleMania, the one throwaway match, they should never have like Knoxville versus freaking Sami Zayn.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm sorry. Knoxville versus Sami Zayn is going to be dope because Knoxville is willing to throw his body to the wind. And that means they're about to do something crazy. Knoxville will just, hey, you want me to jump from where? Let's go, baby.
Oh my gosh, yo.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm sorry. That's not a throwaway match. Come on, man. That's not fair. Knoxville, he will throw his body to the wind. He will not care and will take a
I respect it for that. But the whole thing is like after the Royal Rumble, all I have is like a bad taste in my mouth because this year's Royal Rumble was no surprises. Nothing. There was nothing in the men's. The women's for once was better than the men's.
But
That's
COVID
how
was
crazy.
raging, bro. Like you're asking a lot right
COVID
there.
was raging. What? We were in a full arena. What you mean? You had
Yeah,
Mickey J.
but that
First
doesn't.
time we had the first
But,
time ever we had an Impact roster
okay, here
champion
let me ask
jump
you this:
into a Royal Rumble.
What could they have done to spicing up the men's Royal Rumble for you?
What could they do?
Who could they have brought in that it would have made it spicier for you?
Throw in Moose. Come on. Tell me he ain't lie. He broke that promo out. Come on now. He broke that promo out. He wants to consider himself the better against everybody else. It was already bad enough that freaking Kofi botched his own freaking comeback. He botched it.
I mean,
it was
it
a
happens,
lot of botches.
bro.
There was a lot of botches in that freaking Royal Rumble. It was too many. It was so bad. We even got Shane getting fired because of that shit.
I mean, Shane got fired because he get paid too much money. And Vince is like, nah, I don't want your input round here, baby.
Like I'm already over the Royal Rumble. I'm over. They better announce something good because I'm sorry, Charlotte and freaking Ronda Rousey ain't selling nothing to me. That's just telling me that Ronda's going to win a belt again.
Look, we have talked about it. Done with Charlotte Flair around here, and Ronda Rousey I could do without. So you want to talk about the throwaway match of the night? There it is, right there.
And that's going to be a main event. It'll probably be on night one.
Probably, unfortunately. More than likely, it's going to end up being a night one main event. Well, no, it'll probably be like co-main event.
No. They actually have a main event. The women's always have a main event, and then they're gonna have the men's to another main event because, as I recall, like they're running out of people. Like freaking Big E just freaking broke his neck last Friday, literally. Like he's out. He won't be in the WrestleMania at all. He had a bad fall. Like he even addressed it in the video. He's like he had a bad fall. So
oh yes. Yeah. Oh jeez. So yikes. Well, yeah, it's gonna be WWE is gonna be a little bit hard pressed here come WrestleMania because they've cut down their roster so much.
And Bobby's out for injury too. He has a shoulder injury. He's out too. There's no Bobby Lashley, no Big E. There's a lot of people cutting down. They need to figure out what main events. And I don't know what they doing with they got the WWE title right now and the Universal title. So there's no going to be like 1 for 2 matches. It's just going to be one. So that's going to be one main event for one night. So you got to worry about the US that freaking Ricochet. Did Ricochet just win that? Something.
Well, some of the Ricochet.
No, Finn Balor. Was it
Finn?
Finn
what
Balor.
Did Ricochet win recently?
Did he win Intercontinental?
Didn't he? Yeah, I think it was one of them. I know he won one of them.
Intercontinental, and Finn Balor won the US from Damian Priest. Yeah, there we go. So literally, you're going to do like a couple of that with the. I don't even care about Becky Lynch with this Bianca Belair.
Hey, look.
This is
I know all the longtime ITC fans are going to be surprised by this, but this is the one time that they should have been bringing back The Undertaker for a WrestleMania match. Them other ones that he had after he lost to Brock, they shouldn't even have happened. This should have been the time. Hey, dog, we're doing this in Texas. We need you. Because it would have worked, right? Because then you could have him have a match with someone and not even have to have a long match. Because his entrance is going to take up 15 minutes anyway. So you already feel that's 15 minutes filled. Then it's going to take him another 3-4 minutes to take all his clothes off, do the roll, and then the match is going to start. All you need is like 5 minutes to fill, baby. That's it.
Well, they're going to have him do his entrance when the Hall of Fame part comes in, so we already know. So.
Well, yeah, it's about to be Mace, in case you watch WrestleMania, be prepared for it. It's going to be a 15-minute entrance for The Undertaker to come take his star spot on the Hall of Fame and then to go, So
Hey, we all
also,
love it. You love to see it.
we won't have no John Cena at no WrestleMania either, so that's good. You know.
hey, I
Man,
know that's the one
them
that
movie check, hey, them TV checks, hey, when those start flowing in, hey,
look.
dudes start acting, start moving a little different.
DC said, "Hey John, we give you your own show and we'll let you be in more movies." He like, "I'm out." So, look, I'm not mad at him. I think he's making the right decision personally. I mean, he got out where the getting was still good, why he could still perform, and left people with the feeling of, hey, he could at least do one more, right? Boom, perfect time to get out.
John Cena
Don't want to get out like when
one match a year. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
no, you don't want to become
he got watched by Roman Reigns.
Yeah, y'all will stop this one match a year shit. We're not getting into another Undertaker land. We're not doing this, fellas. No.
One match.
I accepted it out of one person, and that was the Undertaker. And towards the end, I even soured on that. I was sick of that. So no. Okay? No. If you're gonna have a WrestleMania match, you better wrestle more than once in a year. That's why, as bad as I felt for CM Punk, right, and all those years ago, The Rock came back and did a whole multi-month program. My guy, I felt you deserved the main event, but I'd be lying to you if I said The Rock wasn't the bigger star. So I didn't understand why Vince was like, nah, bro, we're gonna put this John Cena and The Rock over here for the main event. Now, the second time, that I thought was just stupid, right? They should have just done it the one time, let it be at that. Maybe if they revisit it sometime years down the road, cool, but they should have kept it at once. But that's neither here nor there, right? I have to ask, though, Daryl, because we got totally sidetracked here. So do you feel like Kevin Owens and Stone Cold are actually going to have a match? Or do you feel like it's going to be a little bit of a brawl that ends up with Stone Cold basically raising his hand and popping the beers at the end?
Second choice. It's gonna be that. It's gonna be a brawl. It's gonna be like a match, but it's gonna be a brawl. It's gonna be like straight up epic freaking Stone Cold entrance, like always. The crowd goes crazy. Him and Kevin Owens.
When that glass break, the entire arena is gonna lose their mind.
Yep. And you know what? It's gonna be worth that $33,000 in the front row. That's how much some seats cost. $33,000. I tried. I was gonna go to WrestleMania this year. I was gonna go. I was gonna take that travel.
I think for next year, I think ITC as a Sportsball as a show needs to take a trip to WrestleMania weekend. I think that'll be a damn good time. We can get some people involved in this, but yes, I think we should try and do that there.
I'm telling you, I looked at that and was like, huh.
Well, you know, when those packages first go on sale, it's like you got to put up like 4-5 G's.
I didn't care if it was that. It was the fact that baffled me that the front row TV section is
WrestleMania.
I know what. I need to see the price after WrestleMania front seat. If it's even half of that, like 15.
Oh no, you know that the Raw after WrestleMania, that ticket's always super expensive too, bro. What do you mean? That ticket's always out of the world.
That's debut status, and that's when I think Cody's going to be.
A lot of Cody's coming out. No. At this point, Cody's coming out at WrestleMania. He's doing something at WrestleMania for them. I don't know who he's going to be interacting with, and I think his first match will probably be on Monday Night Raw. He's coming back at WrestleMania, though. They need to pop at this point. They need something else to draw them in. Like you said, Lashley, who was supposed to have a big match, out. Big E, who was supposed to have a big match, out. You need something at this point. You only have one to draw in the fans.
You only have one member of New Day. That's what's bad right now. You only have one member. It's Kofi. That's it. Xavier's out injury. He's injury prone, so I'm sorry.
And on top of that, I think Xavier's starting to look at his future and be like, might be able to make this thing pop in this TV real quick. So let's make sure we recover. And
literally half the roster is literally AEW. Jeff Hardy just freaking debuted this week too. Shit, like Like the like half the roster. Literally, let's look at AEW and call it WWAEW. Like let's call that.
I
Like it
I
is.
just
Like,
want to point something out. Months ago, your boy tried to let everybody know it was starting to look a whole lot like that old boys club in the WCW days. And people was like, nah, man, AEW is just filling up their roster. They're just doing what they got to do. They're bringing in good quality. I just want to say, again, to y'all dummies that didn't hear me in the back last time, looking a whole lot like that good old boys club in WCW. And you know what made WCW fail? That good old boys club. So
let's see. Let's see. In the last 4 months, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Daniel Bryan, William Regal, Keith Lee, Jeff Hardy, Murphy, Aleister Black.
And now let's think about this, Daryl. They have less TV time a week than WWE. How the hell are they going to fit all these people on TV now?
This is the narrative right now. Like we're fighting between tag teams at this point. Because like if you just bring in the Hardys now, like now the Hardys have been in every freaking thing now. Like now you got the Hardys as a tag team. Build that rivalry up. We got Aleister Black, indie tag team. You got that build up. Yeah. I don't know how much you can do in Dark to make Dark actually be like a second show, because you got Dark building up people, and then all of a sudden you just go in here and just go on Dynamite and Rampage. You're just like, first off, why the hell you got Jay White in AEW in the first place? He's already in Impact of Wrestling as it is with Bullet Club. Now you got Jay White. That's totally the oddball into it when you have Kenny Omega injured as hell. It's like so pointless. Like you look at the injury list right now, like no one's getting time. What did they do when Cody freaking left from there? That whole American family nightmare thing going on? That is a broken up piece of nonsense right now. That's like them freaking in Dark playing games with Arn Anderson and stuff. Like, who's watching Dark? That's all I'm saying. Who's watching Dark? And you probably okay.
In person, not in soul.
Like you got Dark going on, you got Rampage, you got the same old BS storylines. This is what I complain about WWE, and that's going to probably lead into anything else. You're not going to keep on BSing me with the same woman's title rivalry for at least a freaking good freaking month. You're not going to do that to me. I don't give a crap if she's over or not. I'm tired of seeing DMD every freaking Dynamite and just winning by interference.
So what you're saying is you don't want them to build Goldberg with her, is what you're saying.
The only the only Goldberg in the freaking company right now is Jade. She's the only one undefeated since she's been there. That's the Goldberg of the women's division. And then you know what? They don't want to put her against freaking Britt Baker because that looked bad. Because we know Britt Baker can't really wrestle. Barely.
Boy, he called out. I wasn't going to say it. Okay. And I know there are going to be some people mad at me for this statement, but I'm going to say it right here. Britt Baker is not really a good wrestler. She's entertaining, but as far as actual in-ring execution,
we can't get mad at Jade, and Jade's actually learning and training with Daniel Bryan and stuff versus Britt Baker always having an entourage, always getting saved by her mouth. What she have? A modified freaking crossface, putting your freaking hand in somebody, mandible claw in your freaking hand. Like, come on, man, that shit's weak. Like, your best. We've seen how you wrestle when you had Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa, actual wrestler, carrying you through a whole match. It's freaking bad. You can see it. you can see, and I hope Thunder Rosa actually wins this belt because I'm tired of this reign. This reign is going on too damn long. Like, you can't have someone that can't wrestle beat someone that wrestles over and over again. Like, this is getting
What you mean? WWE did it for years with Kelly. What you mean?
Have you seen Kelly? Have you seen Kelly?
Stop
Have you seen Kelly?
gaslighting this man.
Have you seen Kelly? I wouldn't even say the words "let me bang" for her. I would not.
Like, I'm just
you don't even
simply
get to let me
saying.
bang.
I think Ivory's a better wrestler than Kelly, and that's bad.
Hey, but like I said, you said that they can't do it. There's a whole bunch of women that would argue you down because that era of women's wrestling that we hated, they loved. My daughter loves Kelly. She loves the Bella Twins. She loves all those chicks from that era. We hated it as wrestling fans. We were like, this is poochies, throw it in the garbage. Like, this is awful. Okay. But it made a whole bunch of them fall in love with it. So
you know what Maria's peak was? You know what Maria's peak was? When she won. That's it. After that, it had been a gimmick ever since.
Hey, at least it wasn't. At least none of them was as bad as what was her name? The chick with the red hair that they had in recently, where she couldn't wrestle for nothing. What was it? Eva Marie? Wasn't that her name?
Yeah, Eva Marie.
Oh yeah, right? she was trash. You want to talk about can't wrestle?
At this point in wrestling, we're looking at looks and how that new girl that came in WWE, man, just throw the whole women's roster away.
Are you talking about the new chick with the yams?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have to throw the whole roster away. We gotta throw the whole roster away.
Hey, I'm with it.
I'm here for it.
I'm on the same page as Mace.
Hey, she got more yams in my grandma's kitchen on Sunday.
Hey, look, I'm gonna send y'all this text that Will sent me the other day. This is gonna make y'all laugh, but it's just gonna be like, I agree.
Don't let her get a title, then it's all over. She's money making than Charlotte. That's all it's gonna be.
Shirt.
Damn, you talk about competition. Competition and looks is over. Don't bring back the Divas title. That's all I want to say.
Like, okay, now you're going too far. Okay. now you done went too far talking about the Divas title. That shit was just disrespectful. Okay. We're not here to be disrespectful, Daryl. Okay.
Okay.
We're not here for that.
You know what? You know what the amazing thing about it is? Yeah, Nia Jax is just retiring from wrestling, and she didn't want to go over and freaking take a Royal Rumble run, and don't want to go to AEW. That's probably the smartest thing for her because I think she'd just get trashed. I think WWE really carried her in a way.
Well, the issue with for Nia Jax is that majority of the women's wrestlers that are out there currently don't actually know how to work with someone that is that much bigger and stronger, and so it leads to these poor looking matches. It looks because like if you look when she worked with someone like a Sasha Banks or something, right? That was for one willing to throw their body on the line. Number two, understood how to work with a bigger athlete like that, right? Because Sasha had trained with a lot of men previously and had learned, hey, this is how you work with someone that's bigger and stronger. Not all of them are learning that way. So now you're putting Nia Jax at a consistent disadvantage to where she has to worry about her size and strength potentially hurting these women by even doing small, simple things. And to where it got to a point to where it was like, all right, well, none of you seem to know how to work with me anyway, so I'm just going to do my thing. And that's when we started getting the Nia Jax's unsafe stuff.
But what's the difference between Nyla Rose and Nia Jax? What's the difference?
What's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference between Nyla Rose and AEW at her size is the same thing as freaking Nia Jax in the WWE. What is the real difference?
How you use somebody. And who know, and again, if we're being honest here, probably about 100 pounds too, my dude. Look, you asked me the difference. I'm just being honest, right?
What, you think Nia Jax is bigger?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, that's not even a question. Come on, dog. Like, come on, baby. Look, I'm a Nia Jax fan. But come on, that's a big girl now.
If we had to put in this poll, we have Nyla Rose, Awesome Kong, and Nia Jax. Who's bigger? I thought it would be Awesome Kong and then Nia Jax second.
No, I think Nia is still the biggest one out of those three. I think Awesome Kong has height with Jax. I think they're similar in height, but wait, no, Nia has her. Nia's a big girl, bro. Like that's a big girl. Like I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like she's got like college football lineman weight. She doesn't have like, your typical diva weight. Like let's just be honest. Most of these women in WWE weight under, let's just be generous and say 150, right? Because most of them are pretty small, petite girls as it is, right? You have a couple that are like Charlotte Flair that you can tell they clearly weigh a little bit more because they've got more height. They've got a little muscle definition, stuff like that, right? But most of these girls are small. So now you're saying somebody that's over 100 or something pounds heavier than you, now be safe working with me. When I'm not always safe with you.
Shit, Dewdrop is more safer than freaking Nia Jax. That's what's crazy. And you seen the shots that she was giving to Becky.
But again, Becky Lynch, someone who understands how to work with bigger, because think about it. In her time in WWE, it wasn't always Becky Lynch, the man, everybody loves her. No. There was a good chunk of time where she was the steampunk chick, where it was like, if you like weird people, you can rock with her. And if you like good wrestlers, you can rock with her. But most people didn't even recognize who she was. Let's just be perfectly frank about this, right? Mm-hmm. Becky Lynch was probably the best female wrestler in WWE a year and a half before she got the title at WrestleMania with the whole demand gimmick. Right? Yeah, she was you could argue other people, but she was probably the one. Yeah, she was probably the best one. But yet, she got to be the best because she had to keep going in matches with so many different people over and over and learning to work with a whole bunch of different individuals to where, not like we said, not all of these women, especially now, have to deal with that. You think about it. You're talking about a time where Becky Lynch had to face potentially all three of those women. Not all of these women have to deal with that. Not all of these women even have to go through all the same type of training that someone from the era of like Becky and Sasha, when they were doing their training, have to. It's a different ball game.
That's why I feel like when you remember like beginning NXT. So when it came to like Paige and what's her face? I forgot her name.
AJ Lee, you talking about?
No, not AJ. It was like Paige and what's her name? Her name now is like she had that dumb dance, that side to side dance. You know what gimmick I was talking about? It was like I forgot, but I will look it up later. But that's why the other girl, when she was facing Paige and Paige won the actual women's the Divas title from like NXT. Like she has not really progressed because how she looked in her matches, she wasn't putting that full effort like how Sasha was in freaking NXT, how Bailey was doing in NXT. They were like grinders and hustles. Like when they looked at her matches, it was like, okay, I'm just doing just a bit. Like NXT is really that ground pool of like you have to precisely get your gimmick to a point that it's going to sell. That is your selling point. That's why I liked how Triple H ran NXT versus how NXT is now, because no one's grinding their freaking gimmick. Like no one's really like putting that, like, I need that brass ring to show everything. Like the only person I've seen on NXT that might play a part in WrestleMania, if I'm not wrong, is probably one of the Usos' brother. I forgot his name.
You're probably right. No, you're probably right. But
just like,
but you have to remember though, NXT is at a point now to where it is no longer being used as a developmental device. It is now we're gonna test you for TV and then get you on. right?
No, it's a jobber bank. That's what that is. You got Dolph Ziggler winning an NXT title.
Hey, I told y'all, I told you and Terrell months ago, and y'all both wanted to try and argue me down that the NXT title didn't mean shit. And look who ended up being right.
Yeah. You know what? It meant something when Keith Lee won it. So that's all.
Oh yeah, what did it mean? It means you was gonna have a quick trip up to the main roster and then go right to AEW. I guess that's what it means, huh? I guess it means you're bound for AEW.
Absolutely, because Tony Khan got that bread. He gonna give you the bag. That's all he's like. Welcome, come, entertainment, more money. You know what? I look at AEW now.
Tony Khan trying to put Vince McMahon out of business. He wants to buy up the wrestling world.
You're amazed. The only reason I watch AEW now is for debuts. That's what I watch. There's a new debut every flipping week. Every week.
My man said he's flexing his muscle. He's flexing that money around.
Man. That's the only thing that they have at this point, because they've gotten away from their own way of doing things, which was telling stories and telling long-term stories. And now they can't tell long-term stories because they keep bringing in new people that are from WWE, and they're like, well, we got to fit you in somehow. Like I said, y'all starting to look a lot like WCW circa 1998, homie. So I'm talking about Starrcade. We need to finish this Bill Goldberg streak by having him get hit with a taser by Scott Hall, and then Kevin Nash powerbombed this man to end his streak of winning, which was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. Congratulations, Vince Russo, for another horrible decision in the wrestling business. But
that's horrible.
A taser.
Go ahead, Daryl. I ain't gonna cut you off. Go ahead. Give it to him. Finish your thought.
Even Kevin Nash didn't want to do that. That's how bad it was. That man, in so many interviews, that man didn't want to do that. It didn't even sound right. And then the day after that, that was probably those two, the pay-per-view, then the Nitro after that. Worst decisions of all time.
Oh, yes.
Worst decisions of all time.
Take it from somebody who at that time, leading up to that Starrcade, I was WCW over WWF, right? I was over, not even a question in my mind, right? Then they did that, and they was like, it just ruined it for me. It was like, oh, yuck. This is how you're going to conclude a storyline that's been going on for like 2 years? This is how you conclude it? Yuck. Oh, and then
2000 WCW was probably the worst of WCW of all time.
So think about it. They went 97 Starrcade was Hogan and Sting, right? They screwed that up with the dirty crap with the referee. Then they turned around the very next year and screwed up the Bill Goldberg thing. Like y'all are some morons.
It was so bad. It was so bad. It got to the point that like they're like laying down and handing titles to each other. Literally, that's how bad it was.
Oh, you mean the finger poke of doom?
The finger poke of doom, yeah. it's like literally like there are great people that put in all the work and the research to explain that whole situation, and you're just listening to it, and you're just like, boy, as a little kid, you don't know these politics, but once you get older, you're like, that is horrible. That's why
you get older, and yeah.
This is why we watch Dark Side of the Ring. this is the reason why. And this is
wrong. Sting showing up in the Raptors, not saying nothing for like 2 years was awesome to me, but now that's whack. The best you got is a dude walking around like the Crow, not saying nothing.
What made Sting talk was the Vampiro freaking rivalry. Was it? I think it was Vampiro.
I forgot who it was, but Sting didn't talk for like
it was Vampiro. So he didn't talk because he was in that rivalry with Hogan for like 2 years, right? And then they finally got to the conclusion, like May said, because for like the first 4 or 5 months, Sting would just sit in the rafters and wouldn't even come down. Then eventually he started coming down once in a while. Then he wouldn't appear. They would be like, oh, is he not going to be here? Then all of a sudden he would appear again. Say it was a whole mess, but it was good for effect. But yes, they probably did play that out too long, because when you ended up with the result of the mess that you got at Starrcade with the fake fast count, and then Sting having to win in a very convoluted way, it just ruined your entire story. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is another episode of ITC Sportsball. Mace, tell the people where to find you. And people, make sure you go follow my man Mace here. Look, I'm going to tell you something. He is one of the best For Honor players in the world. He ain't going to say it, but I'll say it for him, right? He's one of the few dudes out there that has climbed the ladder in For Honor. And let me tell you something. He's one of those guys that when you see him in the lobby, you're like, I should just quit. So make sure you go follow his stuff. So Mace, tell the people where to find you.
At Twitter, funky_stuff09, Instagram, Nindaime Sama, and Twitch, as my man just so eloquently embellished me. Give me that shout out, give me that follow, twitch.tv/swaggymace.
Ooh, Swaggy Mace. Spelled how it sounds, people. I know he don't spell it for you, but it's all spelled how it sounds. Swaggy Mace. And then here he is himself, Mr. Low Elo Janitor. Daryl, tell the people where to find you.
Well, you're gonna find me eventually on Twitch, because we're gonna start doing this WWE 2K22. We're gonna start doing these tag team games,
stuff.
And you're always gonna see that Low Elo tag in there. So so it'll be Twitch and YouTube, and after that, Alvarez Effect for Twitter and Instagram.
Y'all make sure y'all watch it, because look, me and Daryl, we're going to make sure we put together a nice little feud for you as we become the tag team champions of the world. The Road Dog, Low Elo Janitor, the badass Jerome Span. Sorry, yeah, I done lost my mind. Yeah, you see, I done lost it.
Yeah, a strong promo run.
I may or may not in another life learned how to cut promos and been cutting them before. I'm not gonna talk about that story for a different time. But people, you know where to find me. It's at JSpan the Man everywhere. It's either JSpan the Man or JSpan the Man 23. You'll see either my pretty face. Y'all couldn't see it here. I know on audio y'all didn't see it, but like it just shined on me. It was like, boom, he's so beautiful. Right when I did that.
He ain't shining. Don't let him fool you. He ain't shining.
Right when I did that. But yes, you'll either see my pretty face or you will see the ITC logo. But again, people, we thank you for coming and sitting down with us and enjoying another resounding episode of your favorite weekly sports show. It is ITC Sportsball.
I did it on purpose. I wanted a 1 second delay.